So every once in a while we have one of those concerts that we remember for a long time. One of the ones I attended was back in Dallas, Texas, where I lived for a while, and it was at a local mall. And MercyMe had just been discovered for their song "I Can Only Imagine," and they were at that mall. It was a free concert, and they were singing that song. And the leader of the band, he comes out and he makes this comment, and he goes, "Yeah, we're the brand new band that's been around for 10 years that everyone just discovered." And he was making a funny point about how a lot of times we think that people are overnight successes, when in reality it's taken them a lot of hard work and a lot of time to get there. I think that people have the same misconception about movements and disciple-making movements, church planting movements in general, that there's such an emphasis on rapidness and moving quickly that they forget to lay the foundation for something that looks like it happens overnight. So let me talk a little bit about that. You see, in disciple-making movements, the focus is on how do we disciple an entire family or group of people together into a relationship with Jesus, to go from not knowing Him at all to falling in love with Him and choosing to give their life to Him, and then starting up a new community of believers. And so if you take, 5 or 6 people and you start discipling them over 26 weeks, and as you're discipling them, they're reaching out to other people and sharing what they know and starting other groups, then before long you may have 4 or 5 groups of 4 or 5 people that are all being discipled, and then they hit that point in their journey where Jesus reveals Himself to them for who He is, the Son of God, their Savior and their Lord, and they start choosing to follow Him and be baptized. And it looks like 30 people, or 25, or however the number works out, came to know the Lord all at one time. But that's not exactly how it happens. It took them sometimes 26 weeks to get to that moment where they all commit to follow Christ. And the disciple-making process encouraged them to be reaching out to other people and sharing the story and taking care of needs in the community, and all that thing created more people coming together and making that decision at one time. So it looks like an overnight success happened. 30 people came to know the Lord in one night, when in reality it took them maybe of 26 weeks to get there. I was leading a webinar this morning. We do a free webinar every month, and today's webinar was on coaching, the coaching aspect of leadership development and movements. Next month's webinar, September's webinar, is going to be on mentoring. But in the coaching one, I made the comment that it takes about 10 years to lay the foundation to actually see disciple-making movement. And there was some surprise at that, and I got some emails back, and one guy goes, it's good to know that this is not just a short thing, it's a long-term commitment, it's a long-term process. You see, coaching helps us take the information we get from training and turn it into action. It also helps us develop that action and be consistent in that action over time, so that we develop habits, and those habits eventually become a lifestyle, and those lifestyles eventually become movement. You see, this is not about a program you start off and in 90 days you're going to win half the city to Jesus. And that probably won't even happen in 2 to 5 years. It's the long haul of developing a lifestyle of making disciples, of talking with people who haven't chosen to follow Christ, of giving them an opportunity to hear about Christ outside of our cultural conventions, that creates the foundation for movement. And it's that commitment to the long haul that's going to make a difference, because we're talking about a lifestyle and not a program. And so I just would encourage you that if you're looking towards movements, think about it in long-term thoughts. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Structure your time and your life accordingly. It's not a program, it's a lifestyle. Structure your time and your life accordingly. It's going to take you 2 years to unlearn all the bad habits you have. And that's what it takes for me. And then it takes you 3 more years of failing your way forward. And then from year 5 to 10, though, the fruit can be exponential.